There appears to be certain expectations and stereotypes associated with being a spiritual seeker. Many of us feel a certain pressure to conform to certain ideals or behaviours that we believe define that of an individual on a spiritual journey. These expectations can become a box that confines our spiritual expression rather than allowing it to grow and evolve naturally. Here, we may also fall prey to the spiritual identity as the ego comes in through the back door to create the illusion of the spiritual ego. So each of us has an intuition, a personal guru, essentially, this inner guru that is continuously guiding us towards the information and the practice that is most needed for our personal evolution at any given moment. And yes, sometimes this inner compass will lead us towards a certain spiritual school of thought that then asks us to follow certain behaviours that act in accordance with this particular ideology, and that's fine. But the inner guidance system leads the way always. So if at any moment we are asked to make a change, we cannot deny this inner calling. Many of us these days are eclectic spiritual seekers. We dabble in many areas, consuming all sorts of teachings and practices that are available, and we create our own personal ideology, allowing our intuition to lead the way. We just want to be ourselves, yet we still get lost in certain dogmas and beliefs of what a spiritual person should look like. For example, we can be tied to notions of purity that go way beyond what we truly want for ourselves at any given time. So, something as simple as a glass of wine can become this great source of personal condemnation. And we witness shameful thoughts arising. We witness a thought that says, you should get the smoothie because that's way more spiritual. And that's just this spiritual identity that is talking and running the show. So, if we don't have a problem with alcohol, if we don't overindulge, then why should we deny ourselves of a glass of wine? Personally, I know for a long time I was actually trying super hard to be this well-disciplined, well-behaved spiritual seeker that went to bed early and then got up early. And it took me a long time to actually admit to myself that I really hate getting up early and I'm a night owl. I function so much better in the evening. That is my circadian rhythm right now. So yeah, it took me a long time really and I guess some spiritual path maturity to admit to myself that, yeah, this is who I am, and I'm just trying so hard to cram myself into the spiritual identity box by trying to get up super early. Other than purity and discipline, some further stereotypes and expectations of those on the spiritual path include simplicity, minimalism, isolation, renunciation, dietary restrictions, having a calm and soft spoken demeanor, having an excessively positive and loving attitude, dressing a certain way, and always being of service to others. We even have a tendency to think that certain practices make up the behavior of someone that is on the spiritual path, that's on a spiritual journey. So I'm talking about things like partaking in yoga or formal sit down meditation. But these are absolutely not essential because they are simply paths that we can take. And they may be on our perfectly crafted, unique path, but for other people, they may not be on their path. So we have to let go of these preconceived notions of what we think spiritual growth looks like. We have to let go of these preconceived notions of what we think enlightenment looks like, because it's totally subjective. Once again, we really want to just break out of this box, this spiritual identity box, and stop restricting ourselves in any way.
All we can really be is ourselves at the end of the day, listening to our intuition and allowing that to lead the way. We have to really ask ourselves, am I doing this because I'm truly ready for it and because it feels right to me? Or am I doing it because I think I should act in this way in order to maintain a spiritual identity and a false sense of self?
So I have traveled around a lot over the years, and I've stayed in various spiritual communities all over the world, and I have observed a common shadow within so many of these communities, and it is spiritual ego. Unfortunately, not many people want to talk about it, and not many people want to acknowledge it. But it just seems that it is not uncommon for us to be attracted to the image of being spiritual. It's like it's cool or something, you know? And that's not to say that we don't have a genuine interest in being on the spiritual path and you know, working on ourselves, but we can get so easily distracted by the image of being spiritual. And unfortunately, when that happens, our actions are driven more by how we want to be perceived as opposed to genuine spiritual growth. So we have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be alert to the spiritual ego. And I'm talking about this because I've been on my own journey with this. I've had to admit a lot to myself over the years. And once we shine the light on this spiritual identity, then it begins to dissolve. So, you know, unfortunately, this spiritual ego, what it can do is it can lead to comparing ourselves to others, and it can also lead to just judging others for not fitting into the same mold as us, you know? So yeah, it's really important to be aware of this kind of stuff, so as to not create division, between us and the people around us.
I feel authenticity on the spiritual path is so important. Authentic spirituality often involves deep introspection and a willingness to listen to one's inner calling. Spirituality is deeply personal and unique to each individual, and what resonates with one person might not resonate with another. It's essential to embrace the idea that there is no one-size-fits-all approach. We will also change and grow. Our personal beliefs and practices will evolve and change over time. Importantly, we must recognize that the spiritual path doesn't require perfectionism, and cultivating self-compassion can really bring a great liberation to us along the way.
So I recently read a book called Spirituality, the Darnest Thing by Jad McKenna. So thank you, Addie, for the recommendation. So this book will forever be the book that utterly crumbled my belief systems about what it means to be spiritual. It completely crumbled any notions of a certain criterion that we must abide by in order to be on the spiritual path. This book is jarring. It really is. So only read it if it resonates. Read it if you are ready to really have the rug pulled out from under you in terms of your belief systems, and be prepared to be triggered. Be prepared for your ego to potentially reject this book, but deep down, you know it's good for you. You know that is what you need to hear potentially. So yeah, I really recommend that. And thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Jasmine. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. Super sorry that I haven't been around much recently, haven't been making many videos, and yeah, I've just been super busy basically. I've just been traveling around a lot, but I'm now working on settling here in Tirunelveli in India. So yeah, I'm going to be making lots of content and I'm super excited. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.